All right, what is up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to be checking out a cool new Rebecca list from the East over in the OP-06.5 meta. I think we're technically getting into the 0.5 area now that this new EB set's coming out with Scarlet. We'll talk about this card in just a second. Spoiler warning, we're going to be looking at some brand new cards, guys, so just being up front with you, spoiler warning, we're going to be looking at some plenty of new cards. Most of which will be from OP-06, but some will be from, or I think one will be from a new EB set coming out, which I don't have a lot of details on. If you have more details on it, by all means, share it in the comment section below, and I'll eventually update everyone when I get more information on it as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this. I was on YouTube, and I saw this really interesting video pop up. You know how the YouTube algorithm is sometimes. It just linked this this game to me from I don't even know how to say this name here. Obviously, it's in Japanese, I'm assuming. But I saw this game with Rebecca in it versus Yamato, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll check that out because for those who don't know, I did have a little following, or how do I say it? I was following the Rebecca meta for quite some time, and over in the East, Rebecca did very well. In the West, it didn't do as well. Things are a little bit different in the West. It is what it is, but it did not do as well. But in the East, Rebecca was tearing it up for a pretty good while. I think it got like 3 major championships, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. But then Sakazuki entered in, and that was back in OP-04, by the way. And then in OP-05 in the East, Sakazuki kind of just took over. And I mean literally took over in both ways. It became the new blue-black deck, and it also became just the absolute meta-defining deck over in the East. But in OP-06, and specifically with this card right here that we're about to look at in OP-06.5, I think Rebecca's going to be getting some tools it needs to take it to the next level. Now, it is true, of course, and I'll, I understand a lot of people are going to be like, well, yeah, Sakazuki is going to be able to play both of these cards, and some people might even argue that Aramaki is better in Sakazuki. I actually don't quite think so, because you do have to trash a card from hand to use his effect, but it is, excuse me, it is true that you'll be able to search this card up with the new 1-cost Searcher Tashigi and the 2-cost Searcher brand new. It is what it is. But again, you don't have to trash, when you trash a card from hand, that is a steep cost for Sakazuki, because he doesn't get to draw a card every turn from his leader's effect. He only gets to cycle a card, right? Excuse me. Rebecca actually gets to draw a card if she has 6 cards in her hand or less. But the drawback there is it has to be Dressrosa. So again, there's pros and cons in both ways. So, but we'll get into that later. Maybe we'll see how the video goes and talk about it if it comes up later. And you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. What y'all think about Rebecca versus Sakazuki, especially after watching the video. Please try to watch the video first and then tell me what you think. Because guys, I'm going to link I'm going to link 2 videos, one versus Enel, the other versus Yamato, in the comment section below. I think you should check these out, guys, because whoever this person is, like I said, I have no idea who they are. I watched both these games, and it made me want to make this video because I think this person might be onto something. Okay, so check out this board state. He's got I don't know the skill level of either of these players, so just bear in mind I don't know what the skill level is of either player. But this is a Gecko Moria, Sabo, the new Scarlet card we're about to look at, Aramaki, and a Rebecca. This is a full board, guys. This is a full board. And then in this game as well, Hina, Kairos, and then the same 3 as before, Gecko Moria, Aramaki, and Sabo. That is a strong board, guys. Good stuff to be had here. So this is the list. And again, this is all from their YouTube. I have no idea who they are. I'm just going to at least link their stuff so you can follow them if you want to in the comment section below. Okay. So let me read through the list real quick, and then we're going to talk about each card. We're going to talk about most of the new cards individually. So 4 Leos, 2 Manshuri, 4 One-Legged Toy Soldier, 4 Scarlet, 4 Kairos, 4 Bartolomeo, 4 Hina, 3 Orlumbus, 1 Pudding, 4 Rebecca, 4 Perona, 4 Sabo, 2 Aramaki, 4 Gecko Moria, and 2 I think it's called Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so we're not going to talk about these cards very much. They're in the deck, of course. These are the ones we're all used to by now. We know what they all do. However, notice what was not in the deck. No one-cost Searcher Rebecca, no King Kong Gun, no Quarter Coliseum, no Trudeau Bastardo, and no 7-cost Luffy. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, that I do think there can be some improvements to this list. I mean, this is probably the early beta stages of this list. I don't know how much playtesting these guys have done with it. Like at the time of me recording this, I think only these 2 games are available. So I don't know, what all's going on there. But I do think the list can be improved. And, we'll talk about that at the end of the video. So real quick, let's go over some of the new cards. The first one up, sorry about the resolution of this one, guys. I had to find it through a Discord spoiler, basically. It's not on the main site yet where I can do a really nice picture. But this is Scarlet. It is a black 2-cost 0-power Dressrosa character with a 1k counter. Okay, so clearly it's meant for utility, right? Activate main, you may trash this character. So that's nice right away. It is activate main, you may trash this character. It doesn't care if the card is active or rested. That doesn't matter at all. So you can just trash the character, and then, so what does the effect do? Play up to 1 Dressrosa type character card other than Scarlet with a cost of 3 or less from your hand, rested. Then give up to one of your opponent's characters cost -2 during this turn. Okay, so you guys already know what we're thinking about, right? We're thinking a Kairos and a Leo. And yes, it does work the way you think, where this effect will resolve first before the on-play effect resolves from Leo or Kairos. So you'll be able to hit a 3 or less with this character's effect. And I have checked on the Judge Discord, and unless something changes, that has been confirmed on the Judge Discord. Y'all help me out if I'm wrong on that, but like I said, I did look it up. So, like I said, unless something changes or unless we had a bad translation, this card will make it where you can cheat in a Kairos for 1 Dawn less, essentially, right? And allow it to hit a 3 or less. So that is potentially very powerful. And then, of course, Leo's the same idea. He's just a smaller character than Kairos, but they both hit 1s. Okay, but with Scarlet, they'll both be able to hit a 3. And we're going to talk about this card in a minute. Gecko Moria just works brilliantly with Scarlet. And again, I will talk about that in just a minute. So he runs 1 Charlotte Pudding, the Big Mom Pirates, 4 cost 4k, 1000 counter. This is from OP-06. Listen to how obnoxious this on play is. This card is absolutely toxic, guys. This might be the most toxic card in my personal opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. On play, your opponent returns all cards in their hand to their deck and shuffles their deck. Then your opponent draws 5 new cards, or draws 5 cards. So think about that, guys. If your opponent has like a 10-card hand and you play this, you pretty much made them trash 5 cards from their hand, and not even at a bad cost. For 4 and establishing a 4K body, that's completely fine. And then you might be thinking like, oh yeah, but what happens if you get this with what if this card shows up in your Rebecca search where you have to trash it? Who cares? Because you're going to be able to get it back with a card we're going to talk about a little bit later in Gecko Moria. Really, really powerful effect there. Very strong. Even if your opponent has 7 cards in hand, guys, making them get rid of 2 cards essentially and just randomizing their hand like that is just incredible. Really strong card. He runs as a 1-up in this deck. Next up, he runs 2 of the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Excuse me, this is the 7-cost event we were looking at. It is a blue navy card. It has the main effect of place up to 2 characters with a cost of 6 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck in any order. Guys, knocking 2 6-costs off the board is just outstanding, right? And think about it. You can play this right on your 7-Dawn turn where they just had a 6-Dawn turn. So they might have, like, I'm just going to give an example. They might have, like, a Lucci on the board and a Sabo or something, right? Just something along those lines. I don't know. Okay, we'll just get them both off the board. Bottom deck them, too, at that. It's extremely powerful. And this can combo with Orlumbus or something like Hina, which this deck runs 4 of those, to hit a 10-cost or lower. Yeah, guys, just really good stuff there. Now, the trigger is also very good. Place up to 1 character with a cost of 5 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So this is just a great card. This card is such a great answer. Okay, next up is Aramaki. 8 cost, 8,000 power, blue, navy, blocker. Already good. Just right there, it's already good. Then it also has an activate main effect of once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand and place 1 character with a cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Okay, so, I mean, right there, guys, you're going to be able to bounce cards of your opponents and buff this guy simultaneously. And think about that. It's a cost 2 or less. So if you play like a one-legged toy soldier with this, okay, bounce a 5 or less. Get it out of my way. And now I'm going to swing for 11. And whatever characters you have on the board, of course. Or I could just sit back and be a blocker. This is such an 8. This is such a good 8 drop. Like a good 8 cost drop for Rebecca. It's just insane. If you have Orlumbus down, you're bopping a 6 cost back to their hand. Really incredible. And I do want to mention that it says you may trash 1 card from your hand and place 1 character. Notice it's not your opponent's character. Now, you can do your opponent's character, but you can also bounce your own back for utility purposes later in the game if you're running low on cards. And spoiler warning, in the 2 games that I'm going to link down in the comment section below of the pictures we were looking at earlier, the guy almost mills himself both games because he does not have Luffy. Right, he does not have 7 cost Luffy to vamp his deck. So that effect can be used in a utility way. Okay, awesome card. Next up, we got Perona. This is like one of the best new 2K counters in the game, in my personal opinion, coming out in OP-06. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 2K counter, already good right there. Then it's a Thriller Bark Pirates type, of course, but on play you get to choose one of these 2 effects, and it's only if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand. You can either A, make them trash a card from their hand, or B, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. Guys, that is very good. And notice it's 4 cost. That will come into play later. We'll talk about later. Actually, we'll actually talk about it right now, excuse me. So Gecko Moria. This is an 8 cost, 9,000 power, black character, 7 Warlords of the Sea, Thriller Bark Pirates type. Guys, listen to this effect. Read it yourself, pause the video, make sure you understand, make sure you process this effect, because it is the most important the most important boss card for Rebecca that you can pretty much probably ever imagine, right? I mean, who knows? Maybe they'd have to make a broken card to make one stronger than this. On play, choose up to 1 character card with a cost of 4 or less, and up to 1 character card with a cost of 2 or less from your trash. Play 1 card, and play the other card rested. So one's going to be active, the other's going to be rested. Guys, it hits a 4 and a 2, right? So you're going to be able to grab back your Rebecca and the new Scarlet card, which we'll talk about in just a second. In fact, I have an entire slide here showing the value that this card has. And remember, it just plays them for free. They just have to be in your trash. So it'll snag back a one-legged toy soldier or a Leo, and you can combo there's a few different combos you have right here on the screen, right? Like, look at the bottom one here. If you grab back a Hina and a Leo, you can hit a 5 or less when it comes into play. Or you can even grab the Perona if a Hina's not in your trash, and you'll be able to hit a 4 or less, right? Because Perona can -3 to a character for the turn, and Leo already hits a 1. The main combo we're going to look at here is this one, okay? You're looking at a potential, on 10 Dawn, you're looking at a 22 Dawn turn. Check this out, guys. Here's all you need for the setup. This card, Scarlet, and this card, Rebecca, needs to be in your trash. You need Gecko Moria in hand. Then, these other 2 cards, you do need one of them, whether it be the Kairos or the Hina. It doesn't matter, and the other one has to be in the trash. So hear me out. So you only needed 2 cards in hand. Okay, so here's what you do. You play Gecko Moria for 8 Dawn. You get a 2 Dawn, what's her name here, Scarlet, and a 4 Dawn Rebecca from your trash, put them into play. Put the Rebecca into play active, put the Scarlet into play rested. Because remember, for her effect, she doesn't have to be active. She doesn't have to rest to do her effect. You just trash the card. Then, with Rebecca, she has on play effect, right? This is an activate main on Scarlet. Rebecca has on play. You grab back whichever card you didn't have. If you have a Kairos in hand, you just grab back the Hina, right? Or if you have a Hina in hand, you grab back a Kairos. However, no matter which card you grab back, you're going to play the Hina, a 3-cost card for free. Then, -4 to a character. Whatever character it is, keep that in mind, because it's going to come into play later. Because after you've done this resolves. That alone was 10 plus 7. That was a 17 Dawn investment for only 8 Dawn. So you still have 2 Dawn left to work with. But you're not going to use any Dawn just yet. You're going to use your Scarlet, use her Activate Bane to trash her and -2 to a character, and play your Kairos from your hand rested. That's going to be able to hit a 7. Because -2 from what's her name here, from Scarlet, -4 from the Hina, and then it hits a 1 on Kairos already. Now, if you needed to that turn, you could have started with the 2-cost one-legged toy soldier, if you had that in your hand, to -3 to a character. And you see if that hits, now you're hitting a 10 cost or less. But again, that's using up a full 22 Dawn turn, and it does require you to have certain cards in hand and certain cards in trash. But guys, the sky's the limits for this card, this Gecko Moria card, and it will only get stronger as it gets more and more options to use from the trash, like more and more 4-cost cards and 2-cost cards. So I'm just going to tell you right now, when this card drops, you need to get your play set right away, because I do not see this. I foresee this card being in every single deck that splashes black for the foreseeable future, unless it gets nerfed, obviously. So just really, really incredible card and incredible interactions there. So again, if you do this effect just like this, that was 8 to play it, and you got 8 plus 2 is 10, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So that's 10 plus 10 is 20, and you still had 2 Dawn left for the turn. Just incredible, guys. Just really, really incredible. So this deck is featuring excellent amounts of card draw, cycle, and graveyard recursion. Right, graveyard recursion, for those who don't know, means you're getting cards out of your trash, or out of, it's called a graveyard in some games, but it's called the trash in One Piece. You're getting these cards that have already been used. Like, okay, I already used that card, right? Well, okay, who cares? Just reuse it with cards like Manshuri. It's not even doing that. Oops. There it goes. With Manshuri, Rebecca, and Gecko Moria. Just awesome, guys. And then you can hide behind this wall of blockers in Sabo, potentially Bartolomeo. This is a 2K counter, but it's also a blocker. Your Rebecca and your Aramakis, so that you can get to the late game, you know, using removal. Like, you're going to hide behind blockers and remove all your opponent's characters with all this stuff right here, so that you can drop your finishers. Okay, and now you actually have strong finishers that, especially in the case of Gecko Moria, can grab you back blockers and grab you back all this incredible value using this whole... It's almost like an infinity engine, guys, where like all of a sudden, you know, you're grabbing all these cards back from your trash, and Manshuri, by the way, refills the bottom of your deck so you don't mill yourself. Okay, and then all three of them, Rebecca, Manshuri, and Gecko Moria are just grabbing cards from your trash and just replaying them for free, generating insane amounts of value. Okay, just really good stuff. And then, like I said, all these blockers, and here's how you're dealing with your opponent's characters. You have all this cost reduction over here in One-Legged Toy Soldier, Scarlet or Lumbus, Hina, and Perona. Perona not as much, obviously. That's a very conditional one, but it's still an option. And then you have all this removal. You have 2 cards that KO, one in Leo and one in Kairos, and 2 cards that literally bottom deck threats, like Aramaki and the Gravity Blade, the Raging Tiger Gravity Blade. And then, again, last but not least, these finishers. These finishers are just insane, guys. These finishers are incredible. You know, think of it like this. You're getting a blocker out of it pretty much no matter what. Because if you play, what's his name here, Aramaki, he literally is an 8-cost 8K blocker, and he's going to bounce a card the turn he comes into play if you need to. Then, if you need, or, you know, that's one option. Or the other option is play out this guy, Gecko Moria, and he's going to play out a Rebecca that goes through all the, you know, that whole entire combo we just looked at, you know, something like this potentially. You might not always get this combo off, but this is a possibility, guys. You don't even need 10 Dawn for this turn. You can just do this with 8 Dawn, guys, and it'll end up being a 20 Dawn yield, right? Or a turnover. You'll go plus 12 Dawn for the turn. Just incredible. Okay, next up, guys. So this is the list, like we just said. This is literally what we just looked at the beginning of the video. No changes. This is the list. Going forward, like I said, I don't think the list is complete. I think that there can be revisions made here and there. Excuse me. Like maybe Hina goes down to a 3 of, and that opens up a slot there. Maybe Sabo becomes a 3 of. I don't know, because there's so many ways to get it back with Manshuri and Rebecca. That does open up some slots there, some slots here and there. And maybe you go down a Gecko Moria, as crazy as that sounds, because I do have an option to get Gecko Moria out of your trash I'm going to talk about later in the video here, coming up soon. Okay, so again, this is just the first list that I've seen on it. There might be some revisions that need to take place, because one thing I will say is both games that I watched, the Rebecca player did very well. Check out those games, guys. I don't want to spoil them. Those were very awesome games to watch, very long games as well, intense games. Both games, you know, against the Enel and against the Yamato, the Rebecca player had like 5 cards left in their library. It was crazy, guys. So definitely check that out. So here's the card. I shouldn't even have said later. This is just the first card we're going to look at. This card goes perfectly well in any deck that's going to run Gecko Moria. Because look at what it does. Remember what I said. There was a problem with the well, I don't want to say it's a problem, but it looked like a problem where the Rebecca player was literally milling herself, where she had to push for lethal, or where they had to push for lethal before they milled themselves out of the game. Well, Dr. Hogback kind of solves that. He's a 4-cost 5K, 1K counter, so he already goes well with your Gecko Moria. But listen to what he does. On play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, so you're helping out the bottom of your deck, and then add up to 1 Thriller Bark Pirates type card other than Dr. Hogback from your trash to your hand. So right away, I'm looking at Perona and Gecko Moria. So in other words, I feel like the card is actually really good because even if you trash your, a Gecko Moria early in the game, okay, no problem. You can just use your Dr. Hogback to get the card back. And you can get Dr. Hogback back. Sorry, it's Hogback back. You know what I'm trying to say. You can get him back with Manshuri or Rebecca. Right? That's just another option for getting more and more value from your trash, from your grave. Another card to look at, I think, is interesting if the milling problem persists. I can't even say that word, guys. In case the milling issue persists. That's a hard word to say. Elizabello II here is a 4-cost 5K, 1K counter, so you can play this with your Gecko Moria. Remember that, guys. And remember what he does. For those who don't remember, this is back in OP-05 still, or, this is where we are now in the West. You may return 20 cards from your trash to your deck and shuffle it. This character gains double attack and plus 10,000 power during this turn, or excuse me, during this battle. It's a win attacking. Sorry, it is a win attacking once per turn, guys. So that's really cool, and it fills back up your library, or your deck and all that good stuff. So he's an option. Lucci as well. Notice we didn't see any Luccis. Maybe this takes the place of like the Gravity Blade, the event, because this is a body you can put down. It does fill up your deck again, and you can KO some characters like this. If you have Orlumbus down or whatever. Anyways, for cost reduction, this is another option, right? Really cool stuff. Okay, another option would be like Hawk Couture Patchwork. I think this card is largely unexplored. First of all, the trigger almost makes it playable by itself. Draw 2, trash 1. It's searchable for Dressrosa, and then 1 cost. Effect main here: give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn. Then up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 0 will not become active in the next refresh phase. So this can be used early on to just shut down what's his name? Zoro. 3-cost Rush Zoro against the Rush decks. But later in the game, you can combo this to get stuff down into easy target zone for your KO or removal effects. So just an idea. And then last but not least is Monkey D. Luffy. This card can solve a lot of issues, because remember, guys, you can activate this main as soon as he comes into play. You can just return 7 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order. Even if he's active, it doesn't matter. You can still do that effect. And he's a 7-cost 7K. It's another target. It's a Dressrosa card. So it is a target for your searches. It's a target for Rebecca, and it does help solve that problem if it does persist. If that problem does get worse with the milling effect. Right, guys, that's about it. I don't have much more to rant on or say about it. Tell me what y'all think. After seeing this video, after seeing those decks play, do you think Rebecca has a chance, or is Sakazuki going to stay on top? I actually, like I said, in the video that I saw, the videos I'm going to link in the comment section below of the 2 games, this deck looked promising, guys. The deck looked promising. Gecko Moria in Rebecca is just crazy, right? Because she trashes cards with her leader effect, and Gecko Moria can just get them back and get so much value with the new Scarlet card in particular, this card, and Kairos. It might be pretty good, guys. That's all I'm going to say. All right, that's enough. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. And until next time, guys. Peace.